today we have a 08 to 14 Subaru STI. The motor is knocking really bad. We are going to remove it and show you how to replace it with a JDM EJ20X. Here we are, now both engines stripped down to long block form. I'm going to go over the differences here and the gaskets you'll need to reassemble. So basically the goal is to mimic the 257 onto the 20X. So you'll be swapping the exhaust AVCS sensors. These are a different style than the 257 uses. You'll get cam codes if you don't. The oil feed line orientation goes further over, so using your 257 oil feed line will not work. You can use a stainless line, or you can reconfigure the 20X line to work without issue. You'll be swapping over the 257 PCV system. This essentially is just a long block swap. The only part where it gets at all custom is when you get to the passenger side AVCS exhaust sensor. All you'll be doing is, when you remove this, is you'll oval out this mounting hole on the sensor itself so that it fits into the other cylinder head and bolts in where it should. Other than that, you're gonna need coolant crossover O-rings, lower intake manifold gaskets, engine to exhaust manifold gasket, and typically a engine manifold to up pipe gasket as well, because I just find it's simple to split them there to remove it. So here's our 257 on a shelf. We'll clean up our surfaces, replace our gaskets, and assemble away. The 20X, at least this version, is non-air pump. It does have, let's say, a factory cylinder 4 cooling port. You can simply replace it with the plug from your 257. Or you can route this into your outermost heater core line. If you want to utilize that, that is optional. With the air pump not being applicable on this model 20X, you'll simply be disabling the codes via an open source tuner. I can't recall if this car has a cob or not, so if it does have a cob, you'll have to go to someone with the cob software to have the code disabled, and then you are on your way. Another thing we do is, while we've got it apart, is we take out all the banjo bolt screens just to reduce future issues that they sure like to cause. So now we're gonna get it assembled, get it in the car, and fire up. So there's the passenger side exhaust cam sensors side by side. You can see the slightest difference in where the mounting holes line up. Really, you can get away with just popping out the 257 retainer ring in there, and it will pop right in, bolt in, no problem. But that is really the only custom thing you have to do with this particular motor swap. So there we are. We've got our little retainer ring out, and then the slightest little ovaling to get the bolt to line up. In we go, and lined up we are. That's it. Send your bolt in and throw all your 257 stuff on this, and you're cruising. And here we are on the driver's side, or the non-turbo side of the engine. These are the exhaust sensors, so the holes on these line up without issue. So you can simply clean up your sensor, sticker in, put a bolt in there. You don't have to switch the solenoids unless for some reason your 20X. Often these ones do or are likely to get damaged in shipping because they're really exposed here. This one is less likely to get damaged because the exhaust manifold will be protecting it, but this one's really out in the open and it kind of becomes a spot that the engine will rest on. This one wasn't damaged, so it doesn't need to be replaced, but you could simply take this from your 257 if it was damaged and slide it in. Everything on the 20X, when you go to order parts in the future, you'll still order it for your 08 to 14 STI without issue. Everything is the exact same. Like, I mean, valve cover gaskets, anything related to the top of the engine, the sensors, gaskets, all that. It's exact same. Same with the timing belt. Some of the 20Xs won't come with an oil cooler, so that is one slight difference, which means your water pump would be different. So if you want to get an entire timing kit for your 20X, you'll order it for an 08 to 14 WRX. They do not have an oil cooler compared to the STI, and then you'll get the appropriate water pump to install without an oil cooler. If you want to, and you want to use the STI water pump, then simply you'll take your coolant line off here, you'll take your oil cooler off, and you'll take the large bolt out of there, and you can simply transfer it over to the 20X if you so desire. There she is, all done, back in, running nice. Just letting her warm up, checking for leaks. No check engine lights. If you have a Cobb access port, you may get a check engine light for the air pump delete. If you don't have a Cobb access port, you'd have to open source disable the codes. With the Cobb access port, you'll have to get someone with the Cobb software to be able to disable the air pump codes for you, and that's it.